Hi, and congratulations on completing week one, setting the foundation for hermeneutics and biblical interpretation. This week we had two goals, and I wanted to kind of go over the assignments and what my expectations are to help with future grading. The goals were to review the major points of significance from within the history of interpretation, and we did that through an analysis and chart of the reading, and then to summarize various aspects of hermeneutics and the purpose of interpretation. Now, our first assignment, assignment 1-1, was a reference chart summarizing the major movements in biblical interpretation noted in Klein. So right off the bat, you know that Klein is your primary source, and that I am expecting you to not only summarize what he is doing, but analyze what he is doing. In an undergraduate course, we summarize. In a graduate course, I'm looking for outside research and support to analyze your views of that position. So the keys to assignment 1-1 were to outline each section mentioned in the reading. Some folks sent me a note and said, well, this Qumran looks like it might be a subsection, it might be a section, how do I treat that? And the answer on any assignment like this is be thorough. If you're going to call it a section, that's great, and in that case, it would be appropriate to call it a section. But World War II, World War I might be sections, might be subsections. In that case, what I'm looking for is if you don't call it a section by itself, I'm looking for you to make paragraphs and look at each as a separate topic within the larger grid that you've created. So I'm looking for detail to outline each section. I want you to give details like quotes and biblical references to support and illustrate your conclusions. I want you to provide a thorough discussion, and I want you to list several key figures for each period. Now, on whole, folks did a very good job, but I am looking for detail. I am looking for depth, and if I felt like you didn't quite grasp the depth that I was looking for, then I counted off a little bit. Next, we had a discussion post to summarize your understanding of hermeneutics and the goal of the interpretive process. Be sure to include a brief review of Van Hooser's application of hermeneutics. So here is a post where you're expected to engage, summarize, and analyze Van Hooser. In addition, you're then supposed to summarize your understanding of hermeneutics and the goal and method of that process. Some of the key characteristics I was looking for are going to be the same in every paper, and that's the use of biblical support to illustrate what you're trying to show me in your thesis and conclusions. I'm wanting to see quotes, citations, and references to both the reading and outside research supporting your thesis and conclusions. In addition, hermeneutics is the study of principles of interpretation. It encompasses guidelines, skills, and methods for proper interpretation. The goal of the interpretive process is to arrive at the meaning God intended. And that was one of the things that I made a couple of quotes, is you say the meaning intended, but whose meaning? The author's meaning, God's meaning, the reader's meaning, my meaning, your meaning. And what we're after is God's intended meaning when God breathed out Scripture through the human author. The ultimate goal of any study of Scripture is salvation, 2 Timothy 3:15, and transformation, 2 Timothy 3:16, and John 17:17. And what I've tried to do in my quick analysis support for you guys is show you a little bit about how you can use Scripture to support your conclusions, as I've done here. Next, Van Hooser draws an interface between hermeneutics and culture by suggesting that culture cannot be understood without engaging in the art and science of cultural hermeneutics, which he talks about. In his book, he views culture as a work and word of meaning which aims to shape our world, and that's on page 44. And there is an example of how you can bring a discussion and summary of Van Hooser to bear on your papers, or in this case, post. Van Hooser is essentially telling us that as Christians, we must look at everything as a whole, and we need to engage in cultural hermeneutics and interpret the cultural texts that affect our life using the lens of Scripture to combat those texts. So that's just a little bit on what I was looking for in the discussion post and your assignment. As we move through weeks 1 through to week 8, be sure that you are constantly using academic support from your reading, academic support from outside research, and biblical support, and not just personal reflection. I want personal reflection, but I want other things as well. Be sure also to double check your grammar. This is a master's course, and I am expecting papers to be well put together, well written, and proofread. And then finally, we're using Turabian as a citation method. And so if you're not citing your quotes, I'm counting off for that. And whether you're using Turabian or not, I'm not going to count off. But Turabian is the method we're supposed to use. And if you're not using it correctly, I will make a deduction. I think we're off to a really good start this semester. On whole, the papers were good. On whole, the discussions were good. I am wanting to see ongoing discussion over the weekend. And then please call or email me with any questions. Thanks for all your hard work. I look forward to week 2, and have a blessed day.